Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Deck Tech. So today we have 3 new decks and we're going to have an episode for each of the 3. But for now, I'm just going to talk a little bit on the overview about them, our experiences on the past episodes, as well as the new cards that come along with these decks. So as you can see, the theme is mini. You have a red deck for Goku, a blue deck for Vegeta, and a yellow deck for Vegeta, but it's Super Saiyan. So we're going to have the bonus pack that each of the sets bring, and I also wanted to talk to you guys a little bit more about the other special packs that come at least with these 2. So we got one of the ultra limit packs for each and none for the yellow one. So why do I think that's a great strategy? I think it's really good that you can promote your product with another product. So if you get one booster and you liked it, why don't you go and get another one, right? That's what the people's minds tend to go for. So what you have in terms of clients is going to be, oh, that's one booster. Imagine if I bought 2, if I bought 3. Every time I see one, I want to buy one, right? And that's the kind of thing that you get to have with products like that. So promotional stuff is actually really good. Now these packs, the bonus promotion pack, they're going to have promos inside for each of the cards. It's going to be a card that's already in the deck, but it's going to be just one. It's going to be a foil one guaranteed, okay? I don't know if it's full art or not, but it still looks amazing. So this is the kind of thing that is actually really good for promoting. You don't want a deck that can be obtained in the core set or in something else, or because it's starter, you have no such thing as like foils on every single card. You want to monetize and capitalize on that. So that's what I think they're doing very well at Bandai. They're actually saying, you know what, you could actually find one of each card in every single one of these decks in foil. Even if it doesn't come in foil in the deck, it's going to come in foil in the bonus pack. So it makes for non-foil cards versus foil cards to be like super cheap versus expensive. So that's actually rare, and it's a good thing. I haven't seen it in Magic, I haven't seen it in Final Fantasy, and I also haven't seen it in Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh, I think. So yeah, each of the sets rarities is going to be very different in terms of all the different games, but for here we've had a uniform kind of set. So yeah, I want to talk to you guys a little bit more about my experience playing these decks. I played with a friend of mine and it was actually really cool, the mechanic and how depending on what you start as, maybe first or second player, what you're going to get is this special like energy counter, and then you attack, but then you can defend, you can block and stuff like that. You can get like proccing abilities. You can also go full on one of the attacks or just attack multiple times. I really enjoyed how different the combat was from what I thought it would be. So yeah, it was really interesting. I really like the Goku one, like the red one was really cool, but I also like the blue one on the previous set, starters 1, 2, 3, and 4. However, I haven't really tried starter 5, which is the black deck. So I think it was actually what was it, Setsu, I think. But regardless, we got all the way up to an 8 starter deck, and I'm sure what's gonna happen is the 9th one is going to be green because this is yellow, and yellow had Frieza, and because I don't know, there's many reasons. I think after green there's going to be then black, and that way we get all the way to 5 decks and then 5 more decks all on the colors. Actually, now that I think about it, we don't really have it guaranteed that there's only gonna be 5 colors. They could make orange, they could make white, they made black, right? So why not? They could just add a white deck for 2 other decks that they have in red and then in blue and then in yellow. So then they can add 1 green one, then 2 black ones, and then keep going from that. That's the kind of thing that we don't know what's going to happen, as well as when are we going to get mixed colors? When are we going to get like dual color decks? So far we've had like buckets where it's either you're playing in red or you're playing in blue or you're playing that kind of thing, but we haven't really seen a mixture other than all the mono cards. Now this is a new game, it's relatively new. It's actually resets of the previous card game that they had, which advanced and evolved pretty quickly, which had dual cards. Maybe if this game goes steadily enough, we can actually build a whole kind of fan base and a player base and a whole kind of competitive scene where it is healthy by the time that we get there, and not everyone's out of it because of rotation or out of it because it's boring and solved. So a game cannot be too broken or too easy, because then people either lose interest or the trend's gone, and you don't want that. Now some people have talked about, and this is a very interesting topic, how some games have set rotation and Bandai has game rotation. They have Dragon Ball, then they went to Digimon, then One Piece, and now it's Dragon Ball, and then it's gonna be something else, and they keep rotating because they're all Bandai games. They're all the same cards. They just have different artwork, which is kind of a scam, but it's also really cool for collector value. If you have the same game and it's actually just hidden, masked as, hey, this is a whole completely different game, it might not be that cool. However, if you find a way to homogenize them, like with deck building games, like you can see over there, I got a lot of DC stuff, right? So that's the Cerberus engine. So everything that, even if it's not DC, comes from the Cerberus engine, I think that you can actually merge pretty well. And that's how you can actually mix a lot of games, right? If you have the same kind of engine, you can just mix them all together, and that's how you get that. And here, maybe Bandai will do that kind of thing. I'm not sure. And I actually saw a video that said something about here, like it has like a 1, here it has a 1, and here it has a 2. So that's interesting because this 2 might be alluding to set rotation, right? So if this has set rotation, that means all the way till the 7th deck rotated. And what about 8th? Is 8th starting on U rotation? It's actually really weird. But also it could have to do with the fact that maybe you're doing this out of the standard sets, and then this is just a coincidence that this deck came at this time, this deck came at this time. So maybe if they have a better schedule of the colors compared to their rotation, they could actually either launch them all together or just launch parts of it, right? So it's a kind of situation that maybe you want to avoid, maybe you want to capitalize off of. I don't really know where they're going with this, but yeah. So I think the green one was the most broken one so far because it has that slight difference that it, like this is the awakened version, but it was like way stronger. Let's see, we have some of the leaders here. It was supposed to be 15,000 and 20,000, and I think Brawly was like 25,000. It was too much, not gonna lie, too much. Same with the Samasu, 15 and 25. It's so different compared to the other ones, and they can't really keep up in that sense. The leader isn't really keeping up. So yeah, those are the leader cards though. It also had a lot to do with the ramping aspect because that green deck and black deck had different mechanics from the other ones. It wasn't balanced because one of them wants to do drawing, another one wants to do damage and discarding and aggro stuff, and then the other one wants to do a little bit of everything, and then green does everything well. And naturally, because you've got draw and you've got more ramp, you're just skipping turns basically. And if you're skipping turns because you're adding stuff from the top of the deck to the energy pile, then that doesn't really affect the player that's playing. They don't notice. But in the point of view of the other person, it's overwhelming. It's like, oh, I'm just behind. And if you do that every turn, it's like you're taking 2 to 3 turns at a time. So it was pretty unbalanced. I think green was by far the best one. But that was back when the game first started. I kind of dropped off. I didn't actually keep up with the meta. I didn't really look at anything else. I didn't look at tournaments, deck lists, stats, stuff like that. I didn't really look into it. I just bought some leaders until I got all of them, and I got a little leader pile here. But this was all the way till set 4, which is actually set 3. So set 4 is gonna be a new set, and that's why I wanted to open these packs with you guys to see where the cards are at, because I felt like there were like buckets where you go either put into this leader or that leader or that leader, and it felt more like the Captain Ginyu. So it was like the Ginyu squad or the Frieza squad, that kind of thing, or it was like Saiyan squad, but then you had others, things like that. So it felt like a very tribal game in nature was about to be developed, but not via the deck, but via the booster packs. And that could be cool, could be dangerous, because then if they're selling us a whole deck with the support not being in the deck, being in the packs, these cards are worthless and the decks are not worth buying. And if you get that on a review on YouTube and everyone's saying the same thing, people are not gonna buy your starters. So that could be a very bad financial decision, or it could be the case that you just swap leaders and then this leader does really well with the product, the other product for the core cards, and then the leader from here does really well with the starters. So it's not a starter anymore, it's just added value. So then now you get 2 decks out of buying here, or you can just get rid of this card, replace it, the face card, with another one, and now you're doing great. I don't know that that's the case. I am not up to date with the meta, but that's what it seemed like was happening. Green was way too strong, and all the cards that were other leaders, like you have choices, but they're very limited because the game is new, right? So let's say there's 2 leaders per set. We're all the way up to the 4th or 5th set. Well, that's only 10 leaders. And then you have the starters, which give you 1, and then another 1. That's 12. See? So 12 per deck, 12 per color, means only 12 available of the best deck. So there's 12 available decks. Of those 12, which is the best red one, which is the best blue one, best And that's how the meta gets formed. If you don't have that rotate constantly in multiple dimensions, it's gonna be over. So if you take your time to make the best Saiyan ones, then whenever you are done with Saiyans, the rest of the game is just worthless, because you only want to play Saiyan in any color. And then the best new card that gets Power Creep, it's another Saiyan card. Then the best new card that gets Power Creep is another Saiyan card in another color. You don't want that. That's not gonna be something that people are gonna want to look forward to. But if you have a little bit of Saiyan love, a little bit of Frieza love, a little bit of everything, you can just have Piccolo, you can have Boo, you can have Cell, and suddenly what you have is you are going through the history of Dragon Ball, right? And so this is Dragon Ball Super, that's DBS, which means you can do angels and you can do gods, you can do different universes, and that's actually going to delve into more of the lore, and it feels like a very cohesive game. So I like it a lot, and that's kind of what I saw as the trend for the starter decks 1, 2, 3, 4. I didn't really see it on 5 though, because it felt like the last color, here you go. But on 1, 2, 3, and 4, what we saw is, oh, green deck is delving into the Brawly line, different Brawly, because the guy is growing. That's the whole point. Like, he's like getting buffer and bigger and buffer and stronger. In the deck of Goku, you had his friends. In the deck of Frieza, you had multiple of like his enemies from the beginning. So you have different eras. This guy with all his friends from Dragon Ball Z, and then you had the Frieza, or no, the Vegeta from Dragon Ball all the way up to, I think, yeah, because Vegeta's actually from Z only too. Yeah, and then you had that green deck that was, no, that yellow deck that was Frieza, which had all of his buddies, and it's like the villain deck. So that was kind of cool. But then you put Trunks in yellow, but you also had Trunks in blue because it was like working well with Goku and Vegeta and Gotenks and Trunks and Gohan. And it was all in the blue one, and I really enjoyed it because it tells a story. So I hope they do that way more. But yeah, that's my thoughts on these specific packs. Let's actually open these booster packs and see what we got. See if it's any different than whatever we had before. Let's see what we have so far. So here we have these. Oh, what a terrible opening. That's trash. Okay, let's see. Let's get rid of this card. I saw shininess. Okay, so Dr. Miyu, Kibito Kai. Okay, Humanity's Destruction, Son Goku, Arch Enemies Team Up, Vividi, nice, Shin, Beerus, nice, Nappa, Pan GT, and then we have Trunks GT and Cooler. Okay, those are really nice looking. I don't know where they go, but guess what? They are all either Frieza Clan or Cyan, or I don't know what the gods were. Let's see, which one was this one? Yeah, God of Destruction, Supreme Kai, right? So they all have their own home. That's a pretty cool thing that we just got. I don't know the prices either, so I'm not really up to date on anything. Let's open the second one though. See how it goes. See if I open this one way better. That was terrible. See? Okay. Let's get rid of this one. Whatever. Bizu or Baizu. I have no clue what this character is. No clue. Yep. Then Invasion of the Saiyans. Piccolo on blue. Ribbit. Okay, there's some. Oh, that's black. Okay, so machines are on black. Cool. Turtles. Great Priest. Okay, so there's angels in different colors than the god. No, they're in the same color. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, that's pretty cool. Then Idasa, I don't know this guy. Amazing Hidden Potential. Vegeta, nice. It's like a red Vegeta. Cool. Same blue too. Then we have Hyper Meta Rildo. Weird name. But they're all machine mutants on black. That's pretty cool. And we have King Goma. DA. I don't know what the DA stands for. Same here, same here, same here. What does DA mean? And now we have Vegeta on green. Pretty cool. That's like an old school Vegeta too. See how different it looks? Yeah, that's pretty cool. I really like how it's got two foils, it's got some battles, but it's also got some extra cards. Pretty cool stuff. I also am not sure what it means, like this number versus this number. What's the difference? I think it's whenever you use them from your hand, but I'm not sure. And when I was reading the rules, I wasn't really clear on how to play it. We mostly did regular attacking. But yeah, that's pretty cool stuff. I will also keep these packs closed though, because maybe we want it for this specific card, which we can replace. So let's do that for the other episodes, so that each one of them gets its own pack opening, and then we can just swap one card out for the other one, and that way we get the foil version. We might already have it, it might be repeated, it might already be in foil, or maybe it's like bordered or borderless. I don't really know. Full art, I'm not really aware of the situations that this game wants, you know, the intricacies, the collectability aspects, right? So yeah, let's see how it goes. But I think each of them is gonna get their own episode, and I think it's gonna be a blast. I want to see what the green deck is about, because I thought, hey, these guys and these guys are the same for colors, but then we get like a Vegeta on yellow, and what's gonna be like, are we gonna have a mini someone else? Are we gonna have a mini Brawly? I don't think so. That's not how it goes. Are we gonna have a green one but it's Cell? What are we gonna have? Are we gonna have like fusions, which I think would be really cool? So yeah, let me know what you guys thought about that though. About anything like the packs. Do you think they're good enough? Do you think they're lacking something? The punch power, do they give you the experience as you open them? Because in my case, I know half the characters, but the other half I do not, because I read the manga and I saw the anime as a kid, and I read the manga of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, but I haven't had any experience with Super, so I'm not aware of every single character. But I do know the main line of the story, where it's going, the different universes, the gods, angels. Jiren, people love that guy. So that kind of situation is really interesting, and if it interests you too, I'd like to know that in the comments, as well as like, share, subscribe, and follow for more. Okay, but that's gonna be it for the rest of this episode. I'll see you on the next one though. Peace out.